Welcome to Any Given Sunday, Week 12 in the NFL. We are recording this very late in the week, and because of that, we are actually watching it. We are recording while the Bills versus Texans Thursday night game is going on. So if we abruptly stop to mention that game, that is why. We will show it on screen so you guys can understand what we're talking about. But just in case you guys are, just so that you guys are aware, that is probably going to happen a couple times. But anyway, this week, I think we've got a pretty decent slate this week. We've definitely had worse, but I think we've also had a couple better. But this week, our first circled game, we've got what's been a powerhouse so far this year against fallen champions.
It might be a little early to call the Chiefs fallen champions, even if they miss the playoffs this year, which is not likely, but is possible. 3 Super Bowls in the previous – it would be 3 Super Bowls in the previous 6 years with 5 appearances. It's hard to knock that even if they miss the playoffs for a year. That being said, Indianapolis has been a steamroller this year. Jonathan Taylor, in particular, has never quite forgiven the Chiefs for passing on him for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I believe is a Saint now. Not in the Christian canonical sense. I believe he plays for the New Orleans Saints.
I thought he was in the UFL.
He might be in the UFL. I'm fairly confident he's still on an NFL roster or practice squad. Either way, nowhere near the MVP caliber that Jonathan Taylor has put himself in the National Football League. It's a Chiefs home game. The Chiefs are coming off a heartbreaking loss to Denver that effectively knocks them out of division contention. This is a game that Kansas City really shouldn't lose. They really have no business losing this one, which is why I have the Colts winning 28-25.
So just to check back in on Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes.
He's on the Chiefs practice squad.
Fascinating.
So he's still on the Chiefs. Kind of.
Fuck it, dude.
He's in the building.
It can't get any worse than what Isaiah Pacheco's put on the field this year. Let Clyde out there.
I don't know about that much. But anyway, so we both got the Colts winning this game. I think this is very much so potential big game of this week. I think it probably will be game of the week. I feel like for the Chiefs, this one does a lot to help you kind of stay in that competition for a playoff spot at this point. For the Colts, it does a lot for helping you to seal up your division.
And chase the 1 seed.
And have a good competition for the 1 seed with the Patriots. But I've got the Colts winning it 27-24. The Colts are coming off of a bye. Jonathan Taylor
fresh legs
has given no one reason to slow down, but do we think that Steve Spag could be the one to maybe put a chip in this Colts offense?
The Colts offensive line is so good. I find it hard to believe that you could scheme. It kind of like what the Rams did against Saquon Barkley in the playoffs last year. You might be able to scheme him out for 90% of the game, but that same scheme is going to burn the shit out of you when he beats it. And it's not if, it is when. Jonathan Taylor is having that kind of season. If anyone is going to just straight up blow this game plan up for Indianapolis, and Indianapolis's game plan should be run until they prove to us that we can't, and then throw the shit out of the ball to Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce. If any individual player could blow that up, it's Chris Jones. And the Colts didn't have to play the Giants. They didn't have to play Dexter Lawrence. They don't have to play the Eagles, so they don't have to deal with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They don't have to play the Cowboys, so they don't have to deal with Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. And those, I think, along with Chris Jones, are the best interior defensive line systems in the NFL. And Chris Jones might be able to do it, but if you can scheme Chris Jones out of it, it's hard to see Jonathan Taylor having anything less than another spectacular game. The Chiefs are 0-5 in one-score games this year. They have not been as clutch as they have historically been in the Mahomes era. And something we've talked about with Matt Stafford is that at times this year, he's just missed passes. That is also true, and I think more surprisingly true, of Patrick Mahomes, who has just lost his deep ball all of a sudden.
I mean, yeah, and it doesn't help having the receiver room that they had for the first majority of the season. I mean, Rice and Hollywood missed a lot of time. Worthy missed some time, and when you miss your top three receivers, it makes it really difficult to throw the ball downfield. But even with them, it still does not. He still has not looked as genuinely just as accurate.
Yeah.
As he has in the past. And I mean, of course, no quarterback is perfect. And I feel like over the last 3 to 4 years, we have been spoiled by near perfect quarterback seasons. I mean, Lamar in 2024. Lamar in 2023.
Lamar in 2019.
Patrick Mahomes in 2022. Aaron Rodgers in 2021 and 2020. I mean, I feel like over the past 5, we have been spoiled by one quarterback having pretty much a perfect season. But, I mean, this year, even the best are just missing sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's any particular knock. I think it's just a part of the game. But with that being said, the Chiefs don't give me confidence that they're going to be able to stop Jonathan Taylor. I think if the Chiefs do win this game, it's because they were able to limit Jonathan Taylor and completely shut down the passing game.
Yeah.
I think that if there's a scenario where the Chiefs win, I think that's it. But I don't think they're going to be able to do either of those enough, which is why I've got the Colts winning at 27-24, which is why you've got the Colts winning at 28-25. Either way, it should be a great game. I'm really excited for it. And our next game is the only circled divisional game that we have this week. We've got the Eagles going into Dallas. This is the second time that the Eagles and Dallas will be facing off. And do you think that the Eagles are going to be able to pull off this season sweep?
If only because we're wearing our Kelly Green jerseys, then yes. At Dallas against Dak Prescott is a place that not just we, but the entire NFC East has struggled. Dak is 21-2 against his division opponents at home in Dallas. He and Jalen Hurts have only matched up as starters, I believe, 4 or 5 times. It is a much lower amount of times than it should be. One or both of them has been hurt for at least one of the matchups pretty much every year since Hurts has been in the league. Dak missed both of the matchups last year. That's why the NFL scheduled the Cowboys as the Eagles' Week 1 opponent this year. They wanted to make sure we got one game between the two teams theoretically at full strength. Now, my score is going to come off as surprising. The Cowboys' defense looks much improved. Quinnen Williams helps a lot. And the Eagles might be missing Cam Jurgens. They are definitely missing Lane Johnson. I have the Eagles winning 42-17. And I think if ever there were a week for the Eagles offense to get right, the Dallas Cowboys defense provides that opportunity. And I think the Eagles defense has shown enough over the last 2 weeks against Detroit and Green Bay to make at least the Cowboys scoring 17 realistic. The 42 is much more of a holy fucking shit, please get your shit together. I can't deal with any more. I can't deal with another one-score game. where the teams combine to score 3 times. I can't fucking take it anymore. Vic Fangio's coaching his ass off. The Eagles' defense is playing its ass off. I need the Eagles' offense to show up, and I think they can this week.
I agree with you. I think that you saying that the Eagles are going to put up 42 points is the hopeful fan talking, because
Certified Cowboys hater moment.
sometimes when an offensive team is dysfunctional, they're just dysfunctional. And I think dysfunctional is the right word that I would use to describe the Eagles' offense this season, because on paper they should be significantly better, but something's not clicking between Hurts and Brown. Obviously, Kevin Patullo's scheme is not working.
Head coaching candidate, by the way.
No idea how that's happening. Whatever team hires him, if they do hire him as a head coach, is going to continue to be a poverty franchise.
No. Hey. Let's not be too harsh on him. To any prospective teams looking for Kevin Patullo, he's a wonderful coach. He's a great coordinator. I've always said this. It's going to be such a huge. It's going to be such a huge. Come and take him, please. Please come and take him. I don't want him on my team anymore.
I feel like you're saying that because you're praying that the Giants pick him up as a head
that would be so
coach.
fucking funny. I might have fucked up my mic. Nope, never mind. We're good.
Anyway, sometimes when your offense doesn't work, it just doesn't work. And right now, I do think that the Eagles are going to be able to pick up the win. The Dallas defense has shown to be improved since getting Quinnen Williams, which naturally, when you get one of the best defensive tackles in the league, it does.
Yeah.
But I don't have – to me, this is a Dallas offense versus Eagles defense.
Sure.
And with what we saw in week 1 with the Eagles defense performing pretty well against Dallas, I think
without Jalen Carter, by the way.
I think that the same thing is going to happen here. I've got the Eagles winning it just barely 27-24, but I can also very well see Dallas pulling this one out.
If Dallas wins, you know it's going to be like 13-6, right?
Or it could be 30-28. I mean, what is the name of our show?
Any Given Sunday.
And with that, any team can perform in a completely unexpected manner, but I don't think that Dallas is going to do quite enough to win it. I think it's going to be really, really close. I think Dallas is going to probably be playing catch-up in the fourth quarter, and they're just not going to be able to get it done. And I've got the Eagles winning at 27-24. You've got the Eagles winning at 42-17. At the same time, you're praying that Kevin Patullo is not an Eagle next year. And
I need Nick Sirianni to be banned from picking our offensive coordinator. He picked Brian Johnson in 2023. That didn't work. He picked Kevin Patullo. That didn't work. He can't call plays. Shane Steichen was a Howie Roseman hire. Kellen Moore was a Howie Roseman hire. Howie just needs to be in charge of the offensive coordinator position, and that's going to be fine. We're gonna hire Eric Yarber, and it's going to be okay.
For those of you who don't know, Eric Yarber has been the receivers coach for the Los Angeles Rams for a long time. He was the coach when Cooper Kupp was drafted. He was the coach for Bobby Trees. He is the coach for Puka. Jordan, I mean, pretty much the Rams never have bad receivers. And when you never have bad receivers, your receiver coach has to be pretty good at his job.
Yeah.
He's been hoping.
If there's one person that could get A.J. Brown right,
he's been hoping that Eric Yarber is going to go be the Eagles offense coordinator. I think he's happy being a receivers coach. Anyway, side anecdote about the Rams receiver coach. Speaking of the Rams are featured in our final circled game of the week, and they've got by no means a tough one. I mean, by no means an easy game. They've got the Buccaneers going into L.A. in Sunday Night Football.
Throwing insane shade at Tampa.
Absolutely no beef with Tampa. Tampa, I think that you are a great team. I absolutely love your quarterback, Baker. I love you. I'm one of Rams. You know of you.
Hey, Baker Mayfield, on the off chance that you ever watch this podcast, and I will put this in the bio of all of our social medias, send us the Rams jerseys you have.
Oh, please. I want
That
one.
would be so fucking awesome. It's never going to happen, but it would be
No.
so awesome.
It would be really awesome. But Bucks going into LA. We both have the Rams for this game. Our scores are a little bit different. I think that the Rams are going to be able to take advantage of a team that's kind of been sliding a little bit. I think that the Bucks are going to have a solid offensive game. I think it'll probably come with a late touchdown. I think Rams are probably going to go up early, like for some reason they've seemed to do this year, and get one touchdown in the second half. And I think that that'll be enough to take the game 30-21.
Yeah, I've got Rams 21-18. I think that these are two fairly evenly matched teams. I think that I think that their strengths and weaknesses complement each other. I think that the Bucks' strength is in the offense and the Rams' strength is in their defense. That's not to say that they have a weaker complementary unit. I think the Rams' offense could fall off the face of the earth for a week, and they would probably still be in a competitive week. I think the Bucks' defense could fall off the face of the earth, and their offense would keep them in it.
They've already done that multiple times.
They have
this
already
season.
done that multiple times this season, including against the Rams' division opponent in Seattle. I've got Rams 21-18 at home. It should be a very entertaining primetime game, and I hope both teams have fun. I am personally rooting for the Buccaneers, despite the fact that I think the Rams are going to win, because that creates space for the Eagles. Go Bucks.
Anyway, that will do it for our circled games this week. And on to the rest. And initially, to kick it off, the rest of the games, we've got, if you're the Seahawks, you're really happy to see this game on your schedule.
Oh, thrilled.
After losing a heartbreaker to the division opponent, the Los Angeles Rams, you get the grand award of going to the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Granted, you have to travel for it, but we both have this one pinned as our blowout of the week. I bet the Seahawks are a little bit pissed and upset with how they lost last week. I think that they're going to come in and just light up the Titans in every facet of the game. Could be a 7-sack day for the defense with multiple turnovers, and could be a 5-touchdown day for the offense. I mean, this is just going to be an absolute definition of a blowout.
Yeah.
Right?
We could definitely see this turn into a bit of the Seahawks-Cardinals game that we got a couple weeks ago, where, yes, the offense is playing exceptionally well, but the defense is pulling their weight as well. The Titans have looked better in recent weeks. They were actually competitive against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. They were competitive against Houston last week in a game that we both had marked as a pretty easy Texans victory. Neither of those teams in their current form are anywhere near the same caliber as Seattle. Early season LA might have been. But ever since the first Joe Alt injury, and now especially since the season ender, the Chargers don't look as good as they did at the start of the year. Seattle looks as good as they ever did. We talked in the headlines video about how they turned it over 4 times offensively and still only lost by 2 to one of the best teams in the conference. They are going to murder this poor team in Tennessee. I've got it 45-47. 45-47. Jesus, 45-7 in the blowout of the week. Titans fans, it'll all be over soon. Get a fucking bag for the first
You've got a couple more months to watch this.
And remember, you can't be eliminated from the playoffs this week, so there's at least something for that.
You want to call that a win? You've got the Titans, not the Titans.
I do not have the Titans winning this game.
You've got the Seahawks winning it 45-7. I've got the Seahawks winning it 42-3. And on to a game that I'm sure we're both much more excited to talk about. We've got the what has been a highly competitive division this year. We've got the Vikings going into Green Bay. And I want to hear your thoughts on this one first.
Yeah, so we talked about Vikings Bears last week, and I remember you mentioning that the Vikings had their backs up against the wall and how that was going to force them to play borderline perfectly. They didn't. And I'm starting to wonder if this Vikings team has the same DNA as the team last year. And I'm thinking the answer is no. JJ McCarthy, very young, very inexperienced. The second youngest quarterback from last year's class behind only Drake May. Not quite done cooking yet. And I really do think that if he had been benched as a coach's decision last year, instead of being injured, if he had spent the whole year practicing and learning behind Sam Darnold, instead of being injured and having to learn all of the theoretical stuff that Sam was doing, the Vikings would be in a better place. I have the Packers winning this one at Lambeau Field, 28-24. I don't think the Vikings are quite there yet. And I think that for as spectacular as their skill positions are, and as spectacular as their defense, and especially Brian Flores is, Green Bay is just the better team with more talent. They've got Jaden Reed coming back this week to pair with Christian Watson and theoretically Matthew Golden. I just think the Packers are the better team.
I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say. I think the Packers are the better team when they want to be the better team.
That's super fair, actually.
Sometimes the Packers have a tendency to kind of shit the bed a little bit. And I've noticed a trend with J.J. McCarthy.
Okay.
He likes to alternate from cooking a 5-star meal to cooking a 1-star meal.
Fascinating.
And what I mean by that, if you look at his game log so far this season, he alternates when he plays. He alternates from bad game to good game. Bad game to good game. Bad game to good game. Last week, he had a terrible game. I think his alternation is going to continue here. I think he's going to play maybe not a great game, but definitely a solid performance against a team that, for me, has been one of the hardest teams to get a hold on predicting this year. Because one week they really do look dominant, and the next year asking yourself,
how is J.J. McCarthy a starting quarterback in the NFL?
What the fuck are you guys doing? And I mean, I feel like that's been the story for the Packers this season and the Vikings to a degree, and that's what makes this game an absolute mystery to me. But I think that this week the Vikings are going to be able to, and more specifically J.J. McCarthy is going to be able to put out a solid performance, and the Packers are not. And I think it's just as simple as that. And I've got the Vikings winning it 24-20. You've got the Packers winning it 28-24. But we will see what happens.
And now for yet another Ravens game. The Ravens get the Jets this week. The Jets are coming off a mini bye. They got pretty thoroughly handled by New England on Thursday Night Football last week. They have to go into Baltimore after going to New England last week. Two tough places to play, two really good football teams. I don't think we have to spend a ton of time on this one, other than to mention that Tyrod Taylor gets his first start of the season this year. So I don't think the Jets drafted a rookie quarterback, but I don't know, maybe next year. And if they keep Tyrod Taylor and he fucking dies, that kid's going to be great. I have the Ravens winning 28-18. I almost read my Packers score again. I don't think it's going to be particularly close at all.
Yeah, I don't think I've really got much to add on to it. I mean, the Ravens didn't look great last week against Cleveland. I think they're going to look a lot better this week against the Jets. I've got the Ravens winning it 33-10. And if you're the Ravens, just win the game. Just win the game. Just win that, because that's where you're at right now. If you're Baltimore, you just want to stack wins and stack days.
Your magic number is 11. You know Pittsburgh's not getting any more than 10. You just got to get to 11.
So, Baltimore, just win. Just win against the team that you should be winning against. And on to another game I don't think either of us think is going to be particularly interesting. At least my score is probably going to be they get a big lead and then the Giants somehow find a way to climb back and make it
Sure,
look a little bit more
yeah.
convincing. But we've got the New York Giants going into Detroit. For this game, the biggest notable for the Giants is that Jackson Dart is currently questionable. And when he has kind of been your only spark, you need him if you want
Yeah.
a glimmer of hope to win this game. And I think that there's something about Jackson Dart that I've been noticing and the New York Giants is that their performance with versus without him is similar to that of the Baltimore Ravens with and without Lamar Jackson. It's a small sample size so far this season, but they really do look like a competent-ish offense when he's on the field. And I think that that's going to be the biggest factor for this one.
Same guy who went insane when I said that if the Eagles win another ring, I'm gonna start making some heinous takes about Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson.
All right, I didn't say that. I by no means said that Jackson Dart was as good as Lamar Jackson. I by no means said that. I'm just saying.
I understand.
If you look at the points per game difference,
Yeah, no, it is a noticeable difference. Jackson Dart is. I think he's a lot better than both of us gave him credit for, which is insane because he was.
I don't know if he's better than I give him credit for.
He
but
was
that's
your
'cause I
number
was
two
high- I
quarterback.
high- I
He was
high
my
on him.
number three. Clearly, I missed something about Shador.
Who?
Shador.
Oh, Shador Sanders.
But I had Dart as a 2B, basically,
Yeah.
with Shador Sanders. I would have drafted both of them in the top 5, and I think that might have even been too low.
For Dart?
Yeah, for Dart, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for Sanders, absolutely too low. I mean, 25 completion percentage doesn't exactly reflect top 5 pick. But yeah, I don't know if I would have taken any of the quarterbacks in this class. That's 11 weeks through their NFL careers. But bringing,
Well, I'm talking about preseason.
yeah,
Yeah.
but bringing this back to the Giants and the Lions. I mean, right now the Lions are just better. It's that simple.
And they're coming off a hugely disappointing loss. The Lions return home this week. And I'm going to say this before I announce my score. The Giants, I mentioned this in the headlines video. The Giants could be the first team eliminated. The Giants could be the first team eliminated from the playoffs this year if they lose and one of Minnesota, Seattle, or Dallas wins. Unfortunately for the Giants, they are playing the Lions, whom I have winning 54-23. And Seattle, as we've previously discussed, is playing the Titans. And I have Seattle winning that game 45-7. So, in all likelihood, New York, we will see you in 2026. Not the New York team that I think anybody expected to be the first eliminated from the playoffs, especially through 7 weeks of the season. I think 54-23 might be a little generous to the Giants, especially if Jackson Dart is out.
Now, and I've noticed something, Coop. I've noticed something about how you like to predict some games. You really like to put numbers up in the 50s.
It's the Lions offense.
I understand it's the Lions, but we've only seen one 50-point game so far this season. It was from the Detroit Lions. I'll give you that. But
all I'm saying.
I've got the Lions winning it 38-28 with Jackson Dart. Without Jackson Dart, that score looks a little bit more like 42-10.
Yeah.
Not much
Poor
to say.
Jameis.
Not much to say about the Giants Lions, but on to another game that is kind of hinges on the status of their starting quarterback. We've got the Steelers going into Chicago. We both have this one listed as a 1-point difference.
Just in opposite directions.
Just in opposite directions. And I want to hear what you've got to say about the Chicago Bears this week.
Yeah, I mean, First of all, any Chicago Bears fans out there, Shake, most successful alliance in NFL history. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about because you're not on Twitter. But on Twitter, there has been an alliance since, I don't know, week 4 or so between Bears fans and Eagles fans, because obviously the NFC East and the NFC North play each other this year. And the Bears have beaten all of the non-Eagles NFC East opponents, and the Eagles have beaten all of the non-Bears NFC North opponents. So when they meet next week, it's going to be really interesting. So any Bears fans out there, Shake, thank you for holding up your end of the bargain. We were more than happy to hold up ours. We will see you next week on Black Friday. I have the Bears winning this one 22-21. I think it's probably 21-19 before the Bears lead a game-winning drive at home in Soldier Field. That's just kind of the identity these Bears have developed. They aren't going to wow you with their talent. They are a well-coached team with talent, and that is clear. And defensively, they are looking to get some starters back in time for the playoffs, notably Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners in the league when healthy, might be coming back this week. I believe he's currently listed as questionable. Especially if Pittsburgh is missing Aaron Rodgers, there's no excuse for the Bears to lose this game. In a hyper-competitive NFC North, in a week you know Detroit is going to win, or are almost certain Detroit is going to win. This is not a game you can afford to drop. And if the Steelers lose this game and the Ravens win theirs, the Ravens are in first place in the AFC North.
I've got the Steelers winning this one. I've got them winning it 24-23. I think that either way that this goes, this is going to be a really good, close game. I think that I have the Steelers winning under the condition that Aaron Rodgers plays.
Sure.
Because Aaron Rodgers, he might be 40 years old, but he is still a quality, I will say a quality quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's not going to lose you a bunch of games, but he's also probably not going to win you a ton of games
He's
either.
not an MVP candidate anymore,
And
that's for sure.
But Aaron Rodgers is, you would still rather have him playing other than Mason Rudolph.
That is certainly true.
Which is most definitely true. And I've got the Steelers winning it 24-23, and you've got the Bears winning it 22-21, but we will see what happens on Sunday.
Just a real quick shout-out to Thursday Night Football, lest you think we forget. The Texans just went for it on 4th and 1 and got it. Woody Marks picked it up. I really hate we never get to talk about like play calling on this show.
No.
And the interesting thing that actually watching a game while we're recording gives us the opportunity to do is I get to complain about play calling. I really hate draws and inside zones on 3rd or 4th and less than 2.
Really?
Because
I understand why you don't like draws. I think a draw is a pretty dumb play to draw up on a 3rd or 4th and close, because the purpose of a draw.
Oh shit! Touchdown? No.
The purpose of a draw is to make the defense think you're passing it.
Yeah.
And then your quarterback tucks it and takes off. That's the idea behind a draw run.
I mean, halfback draws.
Again, the same principle.
Yeah.
The same principle. You want the defense to think that you are throwing the ball, and then you hand it off, or you tuck it. In this case, you hand it off and try to catch the defense off guard. They're prepped to defend the run. Why are you running a draw? It's like we talked about that one play in the Eagles game where Kevin Matullo ran a play action with no routes over the middle, which
I'm gonna put this play up on screen because it drives me fucking crazy.
What's the purpose of running a play action if you're not going to have anyone to come into the space that those linebackers are leaving open? What's the purpose?
It's a really good
I have no
question.
idea.
That terrorist deserves to be fired.
Onto a game that could feature a quarterback nobody expected to see this early in the season. We've got the Patriots coming off of a mini bye. They had the Thursday night last week, and they're going into Cincinnati, who could have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was a full participant in practice, and that is much earlier than than anyone expected. Um, I think my score stays the same whether or not Joe Burrow plays,
Mine does too, actually.
just because of, which is really weird to say
I mean,
when the starting quarterback comes back.
it reflects really poorly on Zach Taylor that you can plug 41-year-old Joe Flacco.
Did you see Joe Flacco says he still wants to play next year?
Yeah, it's
He probably will.
he probably will.
Probably for the Jets.
Probably for the Jets. Again,
LeBron going back to the Cavs.
it reflects really, really poorly on Zach Taylor that our scores for this game don't change.
Yeah.
If 40-year-old Joe Flacco is starting, or if, I don't know how old Joe Burrow is, but I'm going to say 27-year-old
That
Joe
feels about
Burrow,
right.
who is a much better quarterback than Joe Flacco. I think we can both agree.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We both had Burrow.
Burrow is probably the better of the Joes right now at this point in their careers.
Irrespective of who plays, I've got New England winning 35-31 in Cincinnati. I am living and dying by the. I abandoned it last week. I'm coming back to it. I'm living and dying by the adage. No matter how many points Joe puts up, the defense will give up one more. It does not matter which Joe you plug into that statement. The Patriots are fighting for the 1 seed. They know what's at stake. Don't fuck it up.
And they're steamrolling. The Patriots just continue to roll and steam teams that they should beat. I've also got the Patriots putting up 30 and a 30-28 win against the Bengals. I mean, old adage, no matter how many points Joe puts up, the Bengals defense is going to let up a couple more. Not too much to say there. I think the Patriots are going to continue to roll, continue to be competitive for that 1 seed in the NFC. And on to a game I know I don't really want to talk about that much, and I doubt you do either. We've got the Cleveland Browns, going into Las Vegas playing the Las Vegas Raiders.
Now, look, I know that the team that I have winning this game is surprising.
A little bit, yeah.
And I want you to remember how good Myles Garrett is.
I think that's a fair point.
And I want you to remember that the Raiders don't have a run defense, and Quinshon Judkins has actually shown himself to be pretty good this year. And
that's also a fair
think that with a week with the starters, certainly he will do better than a 25% completion rating. I think.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm still hoping for that 0 passer rating. If you
think
guys didn't watch the headlines, I mentioned that I was wondering if it was possible because this last week, Shadur Sanders had a 13 passer rating.
Oh, shit. Touchdown Texans. Christian Kirk. Davis Mills.
Is that tied at 9?
Tied at 9, barring the extra point. Bills missed an extra point.
Yeah.
Go figure. Extra point. Snap. Hold. Kick. Is good. How the fuck do you miss an extra point in a dome, actually? They're playing in an NRG stadium in Texas, which is a dome. How the fuck do you miss an extra point in a dome?
I really don't know. I could ask you how the Rams had 3 kicks blocked in one game.
But that's, there's scheme involved there, unless it was blocked, which is possible.
It might have been.
I was not paying attention.
Anyway, the Texans are currently up on the Bills
10-9,
which I don't think anybody saw coming. If the Texans end up pulling that one out, Bills.
We will have started this week 0-1, both of us.
Uh-oh. But anyway, Raiders.
I have the Browns winning this one 24-14. I think that 95% of the Browns' production comes on the ground. I think it might be a 200-yard day for Quinshon Judkins on the ground. Just because he carries the ball 70 times. I expect a Shadur Sanders passing touchdown because I really don't think that he'll be able to stop himself from audibling at the goal line late in the game and just trying to get his touchdown, whether it's a pass or a run or whatever. This will also, if the Browns win this game, it will also break a streak of Browns rookie quarterbacks in their debut games or in their debut starts losing.
I don't think he's going to break that streak, personally. I think the Raiders are a better offensive team, despite the fact that Geno might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen play the game of football.
It's not. He reverted
Um,
back to Jets form at some point in the last 2 years, and I don't know when that happened.
I think it's when he left the good franchise and went to the bad franchise.
But even last year, I mean, last year he didn't. He had fewer turnover-worthy plays than turnovers last year. But even last year, he turned the ball over a lot.
Yeah, my guess is that when that switch happened, even then, I think even with Myles Garrett and Mason Graham and that linebacker
Schweisinger,
Schweisinger, I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
Um,
He's never going to see this. And if he does, we can apologize to him in person when he agrees to come on the show.
Even with that, I think that the Raiders' offense is a little bit better than the Browns. I honestly think that my original score prediction of 20-17, I think that this could be a 7-3 game.
Oh, it is
Genuinely.
so well within the possibility.
And it's not even the both defenses are good. It's that the Browns defense is good and the Browns offense is just terrible.
It's possible that we get I have 21-14 in favor of the Browns. It's possible that 14 of those points come from the Browns defense. It is highly possible the Browns defense outscores their offense this week.
I've got the Raiders winning at 20-17. You've got the Browns winning at 21-14 in Las Vegas. And on to a team that season is probably over, and a team that is fighting for a wild card
and trying desperately to keep Kansas City out of it.
Desperately to make a run for potentially a division title because the Colts have not clinched it yet. But we've got the Jaguars going into Arizona. I don't think this one is much of a debate. I think that Jacoby Brissett has been playing better than a lot of people have expected him to be. Even with that, I think that the Jags are probably finally going to really get back on page with a dominant win here.
Yeah, and they absolutely beat the shit out of LA last week. And we both predicted the Chargers to win that game. Was that last week or the week before, actually?
I think that might have been 2 weeks ago.
Might have been 2 weeks ago. But they converted in that game on what I said they would, which is the Steelers pass rush.
That was last week.
That was last week, yeah.
Yeah,
So
2 weeks ago they lost to the Texans 36-29.
Oh, God, what an awful game. But the Chargers 2 weeks ago lost to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh's edge rushers just could not convert their pressures into sacks. And Justin Herbert played out of his mind. He got the ball out really, really quick that game. And the Jags just did a much better job of holding up in coverage on the back end so that Herbert couldn't go anywhere with the ball until their pressures got converted into sacks. The Cardinals' offensive line is better by a pretty significant margin than the Chargers with current form taken into account. However, Jacoby Brissett is no Justin Herbert. Marvin Harrison Jr. is no Ladd McConkey. I don't even remember. Oh, Michael Wilson is no Keenan Allen even at this point in his career. And I have the Jags winning 35-17 on the road, keeping their wild card contention and division contention alive for at least another week.
Yeah, and I've got the Jags winning 30-20 on the road. I think we're in agreement here. I mean, the Jags should win this game. They probably will win this game, and that's that. And onto Falcons going into New Orleans. And the Falcons got thrashed last week by Bryce Young. We talked about that in the VOD as Bryce Young was our NFC Player of the Week. But the Falcons got thrashed, and they have been sliding like a lot of other teams. And when you're going into a division opponent, a weak division.
How did the Texans get the ball back?
Holy shit. Probably a Josh Allen interception.
Yeah, he's prone to do that. I feel bad because I keep derailing your segments because
No, you're
that's the only
good.
time that I get to watch the game. But
No, you're good. But we've got the Falcons going into the Saints, and if you're the Falcons and you're trying to keep some level of dignity,
this
and
is a
if
must-win.
and if you're Raheem Morris and you're trying to keep your job, you've got to win this one. I mean, the Saints right now, or we've talked about it. They are a well coached team. They've got the coaching staff for it, but they have absolutely nobody outside of Chris Olave. And when you've got one player in a 53 guy locker room, it's really hard to win football games. And the Falcons are just frankly, I think they're a little bit further in their rebuild than the Saints. They've got there's better pieces on both sides of the ball, and I've got the Falcons winning this game 29-20.
Yeah, the Saints are off a bye at home in New Orleans. Michael Penix is out, and I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change my prediction on this game right now because it was announced earlier in the week that Michael Penix is out for the rest of the year with his third career ACL injury, his first in the pros.
Let's go, Kirko.
It is time for Kirko Chains. This is very quickly going to become Bijan Robinson and nothing else. Because, yes, Drake London is spectacular. Yes, Kyle Pitts is
Drake
very
London
good.
is questionable.
Drake London is questionable this week. But even as spectacular as he is when he's healthy, as good as Kyle Pitts is when he's healthy, it doesn't matter how good of a pass catcher you are if you don't have someone who can throw you the fucking ball. And Kirk Cousins said it a couple weeks ago. Not that guy anymore. The Saints are coming off a bye. They're coming off their second win of the season. At home against the Falcons. I have the Falcons winning 14-10. I think that the Falcons defense is really, really, really good. And I don't think the Saints are going to be able to best it, but I think that it's going to be a lot closer than my initial prediction for this game.
Yeah, I think that a defensive battle is very well within the cards, especially with Penix not being in. Either way, we both got the Falcons winning it. And on to our last game of the week.
Yes.
We've got the Carolina Panthers, who are fighting, unexpectedly fighting for a division title right now.
And fighting for a playoff spot, although their only realistic path to the playoffs, based on the way the rest of the conference has shaken out, is to win the division. A tough Monday night football game at Levi Stadium? I was going to say Candlestick, but that's not right. At Levi Stadium, Panthers at 49ers, home of Super Bowl 60. I have the 49ers winning 38-21. They are finally back to full strength. They beat the shit out of the Cardinals last week. The Panthers are a better team than the Cardinals, but the 49ers probably had their worst week of the rest of the season last week.
Probably. And I mean, when you're a Niners fan right now, you're looking at your team and talking about, we are so banged up. And I mean, yeah, but you guys are still finding ways to win games, which is very much so credit to the players, very much so credit to Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the coaching staff, including Robert Saleh. But this, if you want to stay competitive in a wild card spot, because you're probably not going to win the division at this point. If you want to stay competitive for a wild card spot, you've got to beat the Carolina Panthers when you're playing at home. And as much as I don't want them to win, as much as I would rather see a Carolina Panthers playoff berth than a 49ers making me bite my nails down to the wire because they're a painful son of a bitch, the 49ers, I think, are going to win this game 31-24 at home.
Well, and it bears mentioning for the playoff standings, the three most likely teams to land San Francisco are Philadelphia, LA, and Seattle. And that is not a matchup that any of those teams want. Maybe Philadelphia is itching to get revenge for the 2023 regular season But this team is so far removed from that. They've won a Super Bowl in that time. I don't want to have to deal with the Niners in the first round. They are an annoying ass wild card team, and I think they're just straight up better than the Panthers.
Yeah.
And as I'd love for the Panthers to make the playoffs, I'd love for the Panthers to win a playoff game because that makes a much easier divisional round matchup for the Philadelphia Eagles or the LA Rams. And I don't see it happening.
No.
Now, for the first time in a long time, we are not discussing the Thursday night game next week.
Holy shit.
Oh, fuck. Is that Ray Davis? What the?
So I just glanced at our Thursday night game of Bills Texans, and I see a Bills player running free for a long time down, and we're trying to wait to see the score. Pending the point after touchdown, I believe that says that the score is 15 Bills, 13 Texans. I believe that is Ray Davis.
So 2 long rushing touchdowns in this game, theoretically.
By the Bills.
By each of the running backs of the Buffalo Bills. Extra point.
Snap,
hold, kick is
good.
Okay. Field goal lead for the Bills with, I think that's
Ray
a
Davis.
minute 45 left. Oh, my God, it was a kickoff return.
Oh.
Holy shit. The new kickoff rules do make kickoff return touchdowns a lot easier because if you bang through...
It makes kickoff so much more entertaining, which I believe was the objective.
But if you bang through that first level of the kick return defense, you're really just kind of gone.
Well, yeah, at that point, you just have the kicker.
Yeah, and there's not a team in the NFL that's trusting their kicker to make a tackle out in space.
Ethan Evans can, the Rams punter. He does do the kickoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd love to see Braden Mann give it a good old college try. Back to the end of this week's podcast, we are not talking about next Thursday or Friday's games because it's Thanksgiving, and we will repeat this for Christmas because it just feels wrong to talk about multiple pre-Sunday games, which means for the first time ever, because I was awful on the deadlines early in the season, we will have the podcast out before any of the Thursday games next week. So before noon, when the Detroit game kicks off, we will have the podcast out next Thursday.
Yeah, we're trying to record super early for you guys. We are recording on Monday morning of next week. And we're going to try to get it out as early as we can for you guys, just because we want to make sure that we can get the whole holiday slate an episode for itself. And with that, I guess we will review our weekly records from last week's slate.
Yes. First, I want to mention the teams on bye this week. Denver, who is tied for the most amount of games played this year. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Washington Commanders. The latter 2 of those teams played in Madrid last week. And now Broncos and Chargers both on bye as well. Gives the Chiefs a free shot to just move up in the division. It's not going to happen. They are multiple games back from both of those teams. Our records last week. Did you just fix that?
No, that's what it was.
Fascinating. I could have sworn we went even last week, but it would appear as though I'm wrong. I went 9-5. You went 8-6. That brings our yearly records to 68-46 for me, 66-48 for you. I am 20. Fuck me in the ass. I am 22 games over 500 on the year. That feels really good. You're 18 games over 500. I bet that feels good as well.
It makes me feel
Um,
like that I know what I'm talking about sometimes.
yeah, no, and that's a really, really, really nice feeling. Um, that being said, we will see you all less than a week actually from when we are recording this episode. Um, do you have any final words for the wonderful people?
Um, Thank you guys so much for watching. All of our social medias, our Twitter, our Instagram, and our TikTok are all going to be linked in the description below. Um, Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you for the holidays next week.